a new review with Uto. Like and subscribe if you like it. Alright guys, we start off the new chapter with where we left off in chapter 306. With BLUELOCK arriving like he's some big time villain or something, but he's only the villain of the week. But chat, we all know who the real villain is. Radar. Alright, let's continue. We start off the chapter with BLUELOCK greeting Nagi. But you know, Nagi is trying to recollect if he knows his guy, but he has no clue. He doesn't know who he is. But then BLUELOCK gives a whole explanation on who he is. He's a chairman of the Japanese Union. But then Nagi doesn't seem to care who he is. Because seriously, who cares? Yo chat, this better be the last time I see BLUELOCK on my screen and in my vicinity, or else I gotta stand on business, you know? But then Nagi asks him what he wants from him. But we all know what he wants. He wants money. He wants to leech off my guy Nagi. Then we get BLUELOCK answering the question with another question. If Nagi is down to get some revenge on Ego. BLUELOCK further says that Nagi is very talented, and yet he was thrown out of BLUELOCK. I'm not gonna lie, he is not wrong. Then he reveals that a team can register a minimum of 23 players, but the most is 26. Not gonna lie, I fact checked it and he's not wrong. The max is 26 players and not 23. Why did my stupid ass think the max was 23 players? So there's still hope for Nagi? I mean, I hope not, because I don't want him to come back to BLUELOCK like this. I want Nagi to find his ego first before he comes back. But then we continue with him explaining that each team can choose how many players they want. But he and Ego made a deal beforehand. You guys might be wondering, like, what kind of deal did Ego make with his pick? The deal was that he gives Ego a big budget for BLTV and he gets 3 spots that he could fill for the roster. So basically Ego was allowed to pick 23 players and BLUELOCK was allowed to pick 3 players, called the BLUELOCK 3. He asked Nagi if he wants to join, but there are 3 conditions. 1. He needs to pass the selection test he made. Wait, the Red Key project is real? 2. If he passes, he must give control of his football life to him. Wait, hold on a minute. Is he singing while explaining this shit? Wait, let me try. Will be mine until the day you die. Come on chat, that was fire, come on. Alright, let's continue. And lastly, condition 3, once he returns, he needs to play football to prove Ego wrong. So basically getting Ego fired so BLUELOCK can become the new boss of BLUELOCK. Then he asks Nagi if he wants to join and overthrow BLUELOCK by force. Then we see Nagi contemplating, he wants to play with BLUELOCK again, that's why he's there. Then we see Nagi considering the offer because he wants to play for BLUELOCK. Also wants to play with Hiryo, Isagi and everyone else again. That's why he is there. But then Nagi says no. I respect it so much, bro. Nagi, give me a dap up. Give him a standing ovation even. Then BLUELOCK is confused because if he doesn't think that Ego is in the wrong, why is he there camping like a fan or something, bro? But then Nagi explains that Ego is the one that gave BLUELOCK to them. And if not for BLUELOCK, Isagi and Hiryo wouldn't have fired him up the way they did. But then BLUELOCK says that Ego is just using him and that he is a heartless monster. But then Nagi is still standing on business on that he can't betray BLUELOCK because the place has always been burning with passion because of Ego. Yo Nagi, tap me up, twin. But then BLUELOCK is pissed and kicked some mud at Nagi. Yo Nagi, stand on business, twin. Don't let him do that to you. If someone did that to me, twin, I'm hitting them with a Rasengan. I'm being dead ass. But then BLUELOCK is going off on Nagi because he's protecting his own heart and that he can't update himself on another peak. He's calling him bright loaded fool. Wait, who is he calling bloated? But then he gets a call. But then you might be wondering, who is calling him? Is it the bird? Is it the plane? No, it's the goat! Sai Itoshi! Sai is calling him because the U20 World Cup groups has been decided. Yeah, who is in the group with Japan, you might ask? It's not pretty, guys. It's not pretty. They're in a group with Nigeria, England and France. Yeah guys, it's GG. It's a group of death. Hey, come on, they have to play against 2 Newton 11s possibly. England has 1 and France has 1. Maybe Nigeria as well, but I'm not sure. Come on, France already? That's against Loki and Charles. And also a Newton 11 in France. So yeah, they're kinda cooked, not gonna lie. But then we see BLUELOCK freaking out because France is the strongest country. And to be able to advance to the finals, you have to be top 2 in the groups. Yeah, Japan is cooked. But then BLUELOCK says there's a spot available for him in a BLUELOCK 3. He doesn't have to do any test, any selection, he can just straight up join. This is some crazy glaze, not gonna lie. But then Sai reveals he's not participating in a group stage. And the only reason Sai is participating is to fight Spain to get revenge on Bunny. I don't know what Bunny did, but he did something crazy to Sai. Damn. Bro, I know Sai is gonna score some crazy ass goals against Spain. But then BLUELOCK says he's going to leave a spot open for Sai once the group stage is over. Sai says if BLUELOCK can't win without him, then the story is meaningless. and he will use BLUELOCK as a stepping stone because he also has a dream to fulfill. And only those with an ego as big as him can win. This is where the chapter ends. I really like this chapter because we got a lot of info about the U20 World Cup and more information about Nagi's choice. Do you guys think Japan is going to advance to the finals? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I see you guys later.